What is up, world? You are in tune to the Cowboys Global Cast here at the FFSN Network. And of course, you got your main suspect here, my Mellow Mod. Hey, man, we wanted to talk about this, man. We wanted to go ahead and get this over with and just talk some turkey. You know what I mean? Definitely when it comes down to it, I've been hearing this narrative where you guys are not good, man. You're just beating up on poor lowly opponents, and and this is following the 49-17 victory that we have over the New York Giants, New York Football Giants. Nothing made me happier than to see the Giants get dealt with. I just love it. I mean, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. But as I'm sitting here and I'm looking through the stats, I see Dakota. Definitely Dakota's killing. I mean, at this point, Dak is killing the game. 26 for 35, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rico Dowdell is getting. I mean, mainly, let's talk about this. To answer the first question, are we good? I'm just going to tell you, this Texas Coast offense right now has really started to find its way. They've really started to find its groove in the Texas Coast offense. And now that we're seeing it find its groove, I think Coach Mike has, given Dak the keys to this Texas Coast offense, and Dak is more comfortable. And I said earlier, as he gets, and even Tom said it, man, we're only a couple of games into this Texas Coast offense, man. We can't really tell what it is until after game 10. Well, guess what? Guess where we at? We're at that game right now. You know what I mean? We're sitting and we're looking at it. We're at game 9 and we're evaluating. In game 10, it's turned all the way up. So, we saw everybody get involved. You're starting to see Brandon Cooks get involved. You're starting to see that CeeDee Lamb is a number 1 receiver in the NFL. You saw Michael Gallup get involved this game. And the big one is Jake Ferguson. You're starting to see Fergie become the tight end that we knew he could be, right? When it comes down to it, everybody was, talking about us letting Dalton Schultz go. I knew Fergie was going to be this guy. You know what I'm saying? I knew Fergie had this in him to be able to do. And look, we're doing all of this, and we still have, some players on injured reserve on IR at this moment. My guy, tight end, Hendershot. Hendershot will be back, and I think he'll help at tight end as well. I'm not sold on Schoonmaker. I'm not sold on our other tight end. Tom's really good on those names. But number 84, I'm not really good. I'm not good on those two. I think Peyton Hendershot, Jake Ferguson are really good tight ends. And because we lost John Stevens early, we couldn't even see what he was, but he looked like he was going to be a force, right? But you're starting to see these guys come of age and actually starting to be comfortable in this Texas Coast offense. And when you see that, that's encouraging. So I'm going to answer that first question. We're good. We're really good. Even though we've beaten up on teams, quote unquote, that are really not that good. Let's talk about common opponents. The Eagles have played 3 common opponents that we have, and they lost one of those games. We've won all 3. The Jets we beat by 20. They lost to the Jets by 6. New England we beat by 35. They won by 5. The Rams we beat by 23. They won by 9. Listen, what I'm telling you is styles and matchups are important in football and in sports, and even in boxing. Styles and matchups are important. But when you start to dig and you start thinking about what it is that we're doing as a football team, I'm just going to tell you, we are getting better every week. And as we're improving and getting to a place, and we're getting closer and closer and closer to when it matters. when it matters most. It matters most in the playoffs. It matters most when we get there and we reach that pinnacle in the playoffs. So number one, yes, we're good. And it's okay as a Cowboy fan to say, yeah, we're good, right? I want to talk about what's happening with this team. We're starting to get healthy, and that's important. It's important that we're starting to get healthy, and we need to continue to keep getting healthy. That's one thing. Defensively, we've got some people who are playing. We just had Rashaan Evans get into the game. Rashaan Evans in the game is helping us a lot, run with the run defense. We're going to get LVE back here pretty quick. We're going to get Wolf Hunter back. And that's big for the defense, right? Deron Bland has stepped up and he's playing on the outside really, really well. Do I have faith in Jonathan Lewis like that? Man, Jay Lou sometimes he hit big, sometimes he don't. And I would love to see Bland in that spot, and have Trayvon there, but we don't, right? Defensively, this unit guy is getting healthy, right? They weren't healthy in the very beginning because we were without Dono, and then Dono came back, and we got some youngsters like Wanye Thomas, and look at what the job that Bell is doing. Bell is doing a wonderful job at this point. You know what I'm saying? Damone Clark, you could say Damone Clark's doing, 4 tackles. He had 4 tackles this week. but we only played 3 quarters. So you can't really gauge that. But I'm going to tell you something. When it comes down to it, seeing Molly Smith getting in game and mix it up. And, Sam Williams is coming on, right? So you got to understand, the defense is starting to gel, get healthy. The offense is starting to find its way. We now know that CeeDee Lamb is the number 1 receiver. 11 catches, 151 yards, 1 touchdown. But you got to think about it. This man done did this 3 weeks in a row now. Yeah, put some respect on CeeDee Lamb's name, man. Put some respect on his name. And like I said, Jake Ferguson's coming on. This running game, I need for y'all to be patient, right? We're finding our footing with Rico Dowdell and Tony Pollard. We're finding it. We're finding the footing. 12 for 79 for Rico this week and 15 for 55 for Tony this week. Rico had a tutty, and that's something that, that's the first time this year. As you get confidence, let me tell you something. Let me tell you guys something. As a bigger guy, you could wear certain clothes, right? And they could be all designer. They could be all designer clothes. And you could be rocking them. And, people will see you on them, see you in them. But if you have no confidence in what you're wearing, you're not going to look good. People are going to be like, that's okay. Either it could be $1 million worth of outfit that you have on, right? Confidence is everything. So when you get it, you give people like Rico Dowdell some confidence. You give people like Jalen Brooks some confidence. You give people like Wanye Thomas some confidence. You give people like Bell some confidence. You give even people like Jake Ferguson some confidence. That goes a long way, buddy. And when they start believing in themselves and believing in their skills, it turns from them, saying they could be the one to they are the one, right? It turns from maybe I could be the one to I am the one, right? So when we sitting down and we thinking about that, man, I want you to just really kind of concentrate on the fact that at this point, you guys, we're starting to find ourselves at the right time. And when you find yourself at the right time in the right moment, you'll start playing football at that level. Okay? You'll start playing football at that level. Now, when we look at the schedule that we have here in front of us right now, we have the next game is against the Panthers. Okay? We know what that looks like over there. We're not going to say Again, they're gonna say, okay, it's like Dallas playing a high school team, and they feel like, oh, you're supposed to beat them, but you got to understand, the Carolina Panthers are still a National Football League team. You're playing professional athletes. No win is easy. No win in the NFL is easy. Not one. You play who's on your schedule, and I don't care. The Panthers, you need to understand. The Panthers could come in here just like the Jaguars did. And we're playing them at home. We just like the Jaguars did last year and surprised us. We seen what Arizona did with us. So there's no easy win. There's no green lights and no guaranteed win. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening. So we going into Carolina. We should win that game. And then we have the Commanders at home. I'm going to tell you, that's another game we should win, right? It's another game we should win. The Seahawks, very good football team. Not sitting here and putting them down at all. But styles make games. And I don't believe in Geno more than I believe in our defense, right? So that's another one. So now you're looking at 3-0, right? And we're already at 6 wins. So, that's 9-3. And then we got the Eagles at home. Now, I want y'all to understand this. That Eagles game, we could say coulda, shoulda, woulda. We got a pass interference on the goal line that didn't get called, and he caught it on the one, but he was getting hit way before the ball. That's some points. Dak stepped out. That's some points. We were down there and didn't get anything. That's some points. So we left money on the board. And I believe that we're a better team than Philly. I said that we were 10 points better. I still believe we're 10 points better than Philadelphia, and vice versa. Their schedule is super hard. They got 3 hard ones coming up before they even get to us. So, and then we have the Buffalo Bills, who we know who's struggling right now. They're 50. They're 5-5. We have the Buffalo Bills. They're going to be trying to fight for their playoff life. So that's not going to be an easy game. And it's in Buffalo on December the 17th. Could be snowing. We know it's going to be cold. You know what I mean? And then we have the Dolphins, right? The Dolphins get H&A back. That looks like a potent offense. But see, everybody's talking about us beating bad teams. But the Dolphins are in that same breath. They beat teams that were underachieving and underperforming, but they're still a good football team, man. Like, I don't get this, man. Every time we win a game, y'all move the goalposts, right? And we can't do that. We can't move the goalposts. This is a good football team. This is a really good football team. And I'm going to tell you something. After seeing what Dakota's doing, you seeing his stats, I'm going to tell you something. He's third best in QBR this year. Third best in QBR. Last 3 games, 404, 374, 304. This is a man who's starting to get it. The Chargers game, 272. Then we had that blip, the 49ers game, 153, 3 interceptions, right? But since then, 272, 1 touchdown, 304, 4 touchdowns against the Rams, 1 interception. Against the Eagles, who y'all vaunt as one of the best defenses in the league, he had them for 374 and 3 touchdowns. He had his way with him, So when we're talking about Dakota, man, and we're talking about the offense, this Texas Coast offense, I think is starting to hit its stride, right? I think at this point, it's starting to hit its stride. And as it starts to hit its stride, you're going to see us begin to get better. And that's what you want. You want to see us getting better later in the year rather than us declining later in the year. The crazy thing is Sam Howell he's leading the league in passing right now. That's the crazy thing, right? And if you look at it, he's leading the league in passing yards, right? And completion percentage at this point, Dak Prescott is number 1 in completion percentage, 70.7. And QBR, Dak Prescott is number 3 in QBR. You know, I mean, what do you want? Last year, everybody was commenting on the amount of yards or the amount of interceptions that he was throwing, right? Everybody was commenting on that, but he didn't clean that up. And I dare to say, you're starting to hear mumbling and grumblings of him being in the MVP conversation, and I definitely wouldn't doubt it. I don't. If I'm you and I'm listening, I wouldn't. You know, as a Cowboy fan, I wouldn't be upset if you hear them putting him in the conversation for the MVP, because he played his butt off. And, you know, everybody's saying, well, you know, it's the games that, you know, he plays his butt off in regular season, but he doesn't win, you know, in the playoffs. Okay, all right, man. That's a team game. The team got to come to play. You know what I mean? The team has to sit up, and actually, and PFF has him as ranked number 3 as well at 87.6. One thing I want to say too here is while we're heaping praise on somebody, let's heap some more praise. The number two cornerback in the league right now is Deron Bland, number 2 quarterback in the league at 89.4 according to PFF. Right? I miss Trey. Man, considerably. We all miss Trey. But Deron is holding up his end of the bargain. Deron owes nothing at this point. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he is holding up his end of the bargain. Stephon is at number 32, but I'm going to tell you, they don't really try Stephon that much. You know, they don't try him that much. And then we got that, I don't know what type of penalty that was that they called on Stephon. I don't get it, right? And we're talking about in the Eagles game. In the Eagles game, I don't know what that was. Like, and I'm not trying to sit up and make excuses for what happened and transpired in that game. They won, right? So we can say if it was the 5th, everybody would be drunk. And at that point, I'm not saying it. But what I am saying to you, and what I will say is that this is a good Cowboys team that's only gonna get better. That's only gonna get better. You know what I'm saying? And you know, there are a lot of things that, and I mean, stuff I'm not even finna really regurgitate and talk about, because I mean, honestly, I don't talk about free agents who hadn't played in, you know, 3-4 years until they get on the field and do something. You know, we'll see that. We'll see then. But, you know, all I see is this Texas Coast offense really finding its way. I see Mike giving up the reins. I see Dak using his feet, getting outside of the pocket, throwing the ball down the field. I see CD getting explosive plays. I see Brandon starting to get in the mix now. And what we needed to see, we said this at the beginning of the year, if we could get Michael Gallup or a number 3 receiver to step up and have a good year, I like our chances. I really like our chances. And now the offensive line is starting to get healthy. Terrence Steele, let's talk about Terrence Steele for a moment. I understand that Terrence Steele had a horrible game against the Eagles. I mean, you know, horrible. But I also understand he's just now coming back from an ACL, right? So you have to begin to trust it. Then when you begin to trust an ACL, you have to stop thinking about it. And I think, you know, you see a person who's thinking about his leg. You know what I mean? He's thinking about, he's overthinking his leg. He's not just out here playing football. And everyone can say what they want to say. We've had offensive line troubles this year, but I'm going to tell you, as long as Tyron is healthy, as long as Tyler is healthy, Beatis is healthy, Zach Martin is healthy, Terrence Steele is healthy, I like our chances. I like our chances, for real. And I think the running game, as teams come in preparing to stop Dak, Dak is going to be able to audible into running plays that get us a lot of money on the ground, you know. And I think as the season goes on, and I'm going to tell you guys, I would rather that. I would rather our running backs get hot at the end of the year than to be super scorching at the beginning of the year and then teams slow them down in the playoffs. Because guess what? The games in the playoffs slow down considerably. They slow all this throwing around the ball around, happy go lucky. It's a small world after all that stops. Premium yards happen in the running game, and you can win games in the playoffs with the running game. And I like the running game and play action for these last 4 to 5 games. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna see more play action and more running. You're gonna see play action from Dak, and then you're gonna see more zone run schemes and more runs to the edge from Tony, and more runs up the middle from Rico. You know, and I think you're gonna see that a lot. And as you start to see that, you're gonna see this Cowboys rushing game begin to swell. You're gonna see it swell because teams are gonna come in here. I mean, if you, like I said, if you look at what Dak has done, you know, in the last couple of weeks, it's been phenomenal. The man coming in here after throwing a 400-yard game and 4 tutties, rushing for another one, accounting for 5. He's red hot. He's red hot. So, man, this is your man from the Cowboys Global Cast here at the FFSN Network. We are DC4L. We are Dallas Cowboys for life. Man, I just had to come on here, talk. We are good. This is a really good team. And we're not just beating up on bad teams. When we beat teams, they weren't considered bad. And then, like I said, when we start comparing common, and I didn't even bring up the fact that the Rams played the 49ers, and the 49ers barely won that game. Our common opponents, the 49ers took us to the woodshed. We know that. They took us to the woodshed. They whooped us for real. They grabbed us by the arm and told us, don't you ever in your life, you know what I'm saying? They gave us a good whooping. But I am saying, considering we're playing common opponents, you can't tell me that this team is bad in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This defense is for real. The offense is getting better, and we ain't doing nothing but getting healthy. So this is your main man, Mod, man. Definitely thank you guys for watching. Make sure that, and thank you guys for listening here at the FFSN Network. Make sure that everywhere you get your podcasts, you tune in to Cowboys Global Cast. We are DC4L. Thank you guys, man. We are out of here. I will holler at you soon. Peace.